Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here for this talk. Thank you, ETH Prague, for having me and allowing the space to have these really important discussions. And today it's my honor to present to you the pre-trial of Alex Pertsev and the Tornado Cash case from the Netherlands perspective. I'm Eleonore. I'm the founder of CryptoCanal, and Alex Pertsev, for some reason, has impacted my life enormously in the last year. I'm the local ecosystem, community manager, meetup organizer, and something happened on my turf. This man, Alex Pertsev, a Russian, Netherlands-based software developer, was arrested in the Netherlands, on my turf, on a place where I've been advocating for cryptocurrency and privacy and censorship resistance for the last 6 years. He is many of you. He is everyone that I've welcomed at meetups. People were wondering, why are you sticking out for this man that you don't know? And I said, he reminds me of everyone that I've seen in the space. I don't need to know the man. I could see his work, I could see his past talks at Dev Connect, and I guess if you show me what you work on, I can figure out a little bit of who you are. And he built something incredible. Him, but also many other people, have built something called Tornado Cash. Tornado Cash is a decentralized, non-custodial, smart contract mixer, enabling privacy for all. They built something fantastic, something that could give this unique thing that we should consider most precious in the world, especially in our cypherpunk era. This is a tool that is automated. There's no maintenance. After all this talk today and everything that happened in the last year, the code is still running and people can still use it. This is what I would call a public good. Some will argue the opposite, but enabling financial privacy for everyone, when I judge someone by their commits and what they've done, and contributing to open source development is something that I could stand by and support Alexi for. This QR code leads to a Dune dashboard. It's not a little bit. This provided utility for a lot of people. 7 billion, 7.6 billion worth of ETH were processed through Tornado Cash since 2019. Not a small feat, you know? We usually look at projects and we want to see utility. We want to see something that provides a service for all, that solves a problem. Tornado Cash did and continues to do that today. I spoke about myself, about Alexi, about what he built. And now there's two other entities in the story, the OFAC and the FIAD. Two entities that have started to work together, or have worked together for many years. But in this case, they were the prosecuting agents in what happened in the next couple of months. So, oh, nice pictures. 8th of August, the OFAC sanctions the Tornado Cash contracts. Weird. Unconstitutional. They're not supposed to do that. Coin Center, Coinbase, and others have started and filed lawsuits against OFAC and their decision, and for now, it's still in the making. 2 days later, the FIAD arrests Alex Pertsev in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Connected, not connected, we're all led to just speculate. 10 days later, I organized the protest, the community organizes the protest in Amsterdam to make a point to stand for Alexi. And then follows a few months of confusing situation where we have to start learning about the law and we have to start figuring out how this is even possible, why this is happening. And I attend and promote the 3 next pro forma hearings to this case. We didn't understand what was going on. What is a pro forma? How can he be jailed? There are no charges. I start reaching out to other privacy advocates in the Netherlands. They won't speak. They won't take a stance because the charges aren't made public. There's this opacity, this control of the narrative, which prevents us as a community, but also the larger world, to understand what is going on and why this man is sitting in jail. 260 days, that's what they took from him. On the 26th of April, he's released. It was a surprise. I was at the hearing. I thought it was going to be a hearing kind of as usual. What changed? We come back from the recess. He spoke Dutch for the first time or made some jokes in the court, which was really endearing, and it felt like he was standing up for himself. And we come back from the recess, and the judge is reading conditions of release in Dutch. Okay, I'm not Dutch, so it's like, but I think I'm understanding what's happening. And he's going to be released under conditions. So he's at that point not considered a flight risk anymore. What changed? Not much. The prosecution hadn't brought any new arguments. We hadn't heard any new big argument or big reason for his release, but he's out. It was also on King's Day, which felt a bit ironic for having stared at the king for a few months in that courtroom. There's always a portrait behind. And then on King's Day, he's released and he can finally be at home. Pictures of the protest. As you can see, not on those pictures, but a lot of the narrative was that we thought that this was an attack on open software. It is. But in the Netherlands, they want to make it about something else. That's the chilling effect. That's what they did. They put a man in jail for 260 days, 8 months, 17 days, 6,240 hours. Think about that. That's what they did. That's the attack. That's the fear. That's what they wanted us to all think. What did he do? He did something wrong, right? They wouldn't put someone in jail for that amount of time if he was innocent. I stand here in front of all of you today because I believe that financial privacy is a human right, that it is a cornerstone of this new monetary system that we're building here at ETH Prague, but here for the last 12 years and more. We stand on the shoulders of the cypherpunks and of builders of open source development that have enabled us today to just sit around, enjoy ourselves, have coffee and hack, but also give financial privacy to all. Is this a trial by proxy? Well, I don't know. It's a question mark. OFAC, FIAD, would this case have been the same in the US? Could they have jailed him? Would the reaction been different? Open source code is free speech? Question mark. It is in the States, but in the Netherlands it isn't. Is that the reason Alexei was jailed in the Netherlands? What is happening in the US? What is this parallel? These two different legal systems that are coming out the same problem. I want to make the case for privacy software developers. They are builders. They are not financial criminals. They are dreamers. They want to make a difference. They want to solve problems. Do not come after them for building tools. We heard this a lot. Tornado Cash is a tool, just like a hammer manufacturer, a knife manufacturer. A hammer or a knife can be used in very different situations, just like Tornado Cash is. But you don't want to decide when and how it can be used. You want to make sure that anybody at any time can access that financial privacy. The next speaker that's going to be standing on the stage is going to talk about Iran. Tornado Cash is very important for places that need that financial privacy. I take it for granted sometimes. I live in the Netherlands. I live in a place where fiat is, well, It's not as bad as in other places. But there's many cases when privacy is fundamental for the receiver, for the person sending it as well, on both cases. It's actually something that the fiat system has going on. Okay, not in Switzerland anymore. We gave up on the privacy banking sector, but we have transparent systems in cryptocurrency, and that's beautiful. But we also need to cater for privacy. Those things can go hand in hand. And we need to build that future together and enable those tools for everyone. A few weird disclaimers. Can't even say that. Can't even believe that this narrative has to be, spoken at. Alex is not an FSB agent. How dare they try to spin those weird narrative of a mean Russian person? Terrible. No criminal intent. He stood on stages. He was public. He never hid. They implemented a compliance tool, allowing anybody that needed to justify when they took funds out of Tornado Cash that they weren't part of a certain set of transaction. The Bitcoin mixer thing is a kind of a weird thing where there's jurisprudence against certain Bitcoin mixers, which the prosecution is using, but it's very different. And I know that in these processes, it's really difficult. We're asking the non-crypto world to understand us and say, hey, that thing was very different. We know that in your mind it's same, it's just another Tumblr for cryptocurrencies, but one is centralized, one has a very specific team, and all their marketing was super weird and catering for criminals, basically. The other one is using smart contract, fully automated, non-custodial. Very different. And when we're talking to regular people, to normal institutionals, to the judge, to the lawyers, and we're educating them, it's really hard. But basically, we're trying to say the jurisprudence that you have is wrong. Forking is freedom. I love forking. I think forking is awesome. This is why code works. This is why we have this beautiful open source software environment. Tornado Cash was one of the first of that magnitude, of that size, of that impact. But it's going to live on. Well, one, it lives on itself right now. Okay, it had some little issues recently. It did, but that's another story. But there's other things that are being built today, other privacy tools that are going to enable others to have this financial privacy. Just to name a few privacy protocols, Amin mentioned it at ETHDAM about self-sovereign anonymity. There's another team, Chainway, that's building proof of innocence, and other privacy protocol that are working on this and making sure that the users of tomorrow can enjoy what the users of yesterday had. And it's not easy to build these things. I want to talk about the trial, because all of this noise, these 260 days, everything that happened, it's just the beginning. And I think that was the most chilling effect, is that there's still uncertainty. We still don't know the outcome. It's still in the making. It seems that the case in the Netherlands is going to focus on three things: interfaces, ancillary contracts, and the relayer system. So as you can see, it's going to surround more technical aspects of Tornado Cash. They're not going to focus on the smart contracts, and we'll have to live it. And for now, this is still a developing case. And it just leaves more uncertainty. Until then, Alexei can stay at home, stay in the Netherlands, but he's not allowed to leave the country. All of you here, all of you builders, software developers, marketeers, I can't really see you, but I know that you're here. Everybody listening at home as well on the live stream. This is our job. We need to counter this chilling effect. Just like in the States, they're fighting it through lawsuits, questioning what OFAC did, pressuring the Treasury Department. We need more education, we need more awareness. People need to understand what we're building and these wonderful walls. This is something that we need to share, that we need to spread. I know that I stand in front, I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, right? But I want to encourage all of you to expand even your networks, wherever you live, wherever you are, It's never too late to start a meetup. It's never too late to just gather people around you and bring more attention to this and to what we're building. It really matters. I think if there was more awareness of our space, more understanding of what we're building, maybe Alexei would not have spent 260 days in jail. It's not easy as well. I get that. But if you have any questions, just ask me. We're here because we want to build privacy and transparency and censorship resistance for all. We want to make sure that transactions can go through, that people can speak, that people can exchange. Money is expressing yourself. And we have it now. We have it now. But we need to keep working on it. We need to keep building. And it's going to take an army. And part of it is here in East Prague. But others around the world are working on this as well. This is why we need to build resiliency and make sure that nothing can happen to the code. That's why the moment GitHub took down the chain of cache code, a professor from Johns Hopkins, I believe, re-uploaded it again. This is why we need to build resilience within the products. Alexei has become a martyr. No one wants to become a martyr. No one decides to do that. No one wants to be that. But in a way, he's now representing this cornerstone that we're going through in crypto, where we have to be very careful. We always wanted to believe that we'd just be left alone and that it'd be all fine. First they ignored us. We were all crazy anyways, or we were too small. Then they laughed at us, It's all that crazy gambling, whatever. They're just weirdos. And I think it's safe to say that we're now in the attack phase. It's not funny anymore. And everything we've built for the last 12 years is worth it. It's worth something. All of you here are building something. So we need to win. We need to win and we need to keep fighting. QR code to support the case. You can use Tornado Cash before or after. I believe that using cryptocurrencies is a political statement. Thank you, ETH for having me, and ETH Prague for having me. Thank you. I've been told that I can take questions from the audience or from the live stream. Does anybody have a question? Yes. Oh, wait. Sorry. I spoiled it.
That was my same question.
Just repeat it for the live stream.
Yeah. Has he been charged? Yes. Yes, he has been charged. In the Netherlands, the court proceedings don't have to be public. So it's always been sort of a mixed match of us as audience participants to try to recollect as much as what has been going on. I've been told by his lawyer that at his last hearing, so the one where he was where we got the conditions for his release, at 9 a.m. we had the court hearing, and at 7 p.m. the night before, the prosecution emailed the charges. Giving his lawyer plenty of time to, prepare. So yes, the charges have been made to him public, to his lawyer.
But not to us.
Not to us. It's up to his lawyer, to Alexei, to decide what type of communication they want to give and share for the rest of us. Yeah. Another question?
What do Dutch law experts think about the case? Other experts not.
Hold on.
What do Dutch lawyers think about the space or the case? Yeah, it's weird. From what I've heard, it was difficult to hire Dutch lawyers. Even privacy advocates who did not want to touch the case. I think the problem here is that if you just take the headlines and you put those 3 words that the media has been just repeating over and over, which is, Russian, crypto, North Korea, no one really wants to be associated with that. And that has been, that has been sort of this all these unwanted environment and aspects of the case that have sort of played against him. But I've heard other legal experts say, well, it's normal. Because in the Netherlands, we have one of the most encompassing money laundering laws. It's very much like, oh, if you've barely were aware or barely even facilitated, or you don't even have to do it. You can be prosecuted for it. But I feel like it's a stretch here, what they're pulling off. But we'll have to see. Thank you for the question. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of ETH Prague. I'll be around.